Baba says that I am on a battlefield. So do you feel you are on a battlefield? Yes. And sometimes we think that, everybody thinks in the world, if you have an opinion poll today, everybody would agree that they are on a battlefield. But the biggest mistake is you think the enemy is outside. Yes, so you think you are on a battlefield and the enemy is outside. And then you keep fighting with the enemy. Or you keep telling Baba, I don't want this enemy. But from whatever I have understood in Gyan up until now, the truth is, however vicious or, however difficult or vicious the external circumstances might be, or however difficult the people around you might be, they are not your problem. Yes, because they are your problem only when your sanskars are equally problematic. Yes, because it is what is inside that fights with the outside. So if, it's said you cannot clap with one hand, so okay, there is an enemy outside, but then there must be an enemy inside also who is not able to deal with the enemy outside. And if there is nothing inside, then whatever is outside cannot trouble you. That is the law. So if you feel there is an enemy outside, then you must know there is an enemy inside also. And I would also like to point out that the enemy doesn't only doesn't only make you uncomfortable or give you a hard time. So, there are things that you want to do or want to have, and then there is the enemy on the inside which always says that the one on the outside is stopping you. But the enemy is, much more skilled than that. And then the enemy is so powerful because it's sitting inside. So it's so powerful that it is not even allowing you to think of the possibilities that are open to you. It's not just about materializing the possibilities that you know are open for you, but the enemy also stops you from recognizing the possibilities that are open for you. Yes, so the enemy stops you from realizing your potential. And there are two things about the potential. So one is the potential that you know, and there is 90% of the potential in you which you don't know. And Baba is every day through the Murli awakening us to that potential. Yes, but do you know that the enemy is so skilled that it makes you sleep, in your consciousness, and it doesn't even allow you to realize that that's your potential and you're missing out on that. You are only thinking about things that you know are your potential, and there you think that, okay, there is somebody outside or some situation outside which is stopping you. But no, it's the enemy inside that's the difficult one, and you are in a battlefield and you must recognize the enemy inside. Yes, and what I have understood in this whole journey is, so we are learning spiritual knowledge from the spiritual father, but there is an aspect of us which we completely dismiss, and then we think that, spiritual knowledge will do everything. But the first thing is self-awareness. So you must know what is inside you. So you must know your sanskars. You must know your weak sanskars. You must know your limitations. And you must know that they are not your limitations because of something outside, but they are your limitations because of your sanskar. And until you don't recognize your sanskars, then whatever you learn from Baba can't be put to very great use, because Baba has come to uplift us from our weak sanskars and help us to imbibe divine sanskars. But if I am living in the illusion that I have no weak sanskars, or I think, there are weak sanskars, but I don't identify all of them. So, you see, in the world also, if somebody is pointing out your mistake, do you like it? You don't like it. So, then just think about how much you are running away from your weak sanskars. That even if, by accident somebody comes and points it out to you, then you just break relationship with that person or start avoiding that person. But you don't want to look inside, and if you are not looking inside, how will you change those sanskars? Because your real battle is with those weak sanskars of yours. And if you cleanse them, then nothing on the outside is ever a problem. Yes, so the outside is only a problem when it triggers something on the inside. And if the inside is clean and there is nothing to be triggered, then the outside can't do anything to you. So that's the law. But do you take the time to look inside and look at what is my sanskar that stops me from realizing my potential, or the known potential or the unknown potential? What is it that stops me? So you see, there are people in the world who are suffering in so many ways, and if you look at them, you feel really, sometimes you feel your heart goes out to them and you say, why is everybody suffering so much? But most people cannot even, they recognize physical suffering, they recognize financial suffering, but they don't recognize mental and spiritual suffering. Yes, so most people in the world, they don't recognize that you're suffering mentally or you're suffering spiritually. And why we don't recognize it? Because you're always thinking that it's got something to do with that one which is outside. And you think that I have to take care of that and then this will go away. But your mental suffering, your spiritual suffering has got nothing to do with what is outside. It's about your sanskar. And then when you change that, then slowly, gradually, the physical and financial suffering also stops. The emotional suffering also stops. So Baba says that you are on a battlefield, but the most important aspect is recognize the enemy. Sometimes you are fighting those who are making you recognize the enemy and protecting the enemy. Yes, so children fight with parents and they say that, you are not allowing me to do this and do that, but parents are trying to protect you. But what happens is you fight with the parents and you want to go to that one who is who has the intention of hurting you. So Baba says similarly, sometimes children don't understand that the enemy is inside and they don't recognize the enemy, and they just keep getting hurt and getting disappointed by those who point out at the enemy. And these days there is this concept of therapy, and people go for therapy, and the psychologist will tell them, this is your personality trait, this is your problem, this is there in you which you have to correct. And I think it's very courageous, because if somebody is running away from themselves, they can never go and seek help in this manner. And I think an even better method is, how would somebody else know you better than you yourself knowing yourself? But if you just develop that eye to look inside and be honest with yourself, because you see, when the corporates started, what we started doing is, we started being dishonest with ourselves. We started saying that it's not my mistake, it's because of this one and that one and the other. And then you started just using this tool of blame and being dishonest with yourself, that there is some part of you, your thought, your word, your act also, that contributed to the problem outside. So we've been doing this for 63 births. Can you imagine? So there is huge dishonesty. And then you see, we have been so dishonest for so long that now when Baba comes also, we don't open up to Baba, because our hearts are not honest. We don't have a heart-to-heart connection with Baba. Most BKs, we have a head connection with Baba. So, Baba says something, I analyze it, I think about it, but I don't open my heart to Baba, because for so many years and so many births, I have not opened my heart up to anybody. Yes, so just think about it. Is there any human with which you have been completely truthful in this life? So, can you speak all your truth to somebody? No. And if you look very deeply inside, you don't speak all your truth even to yourself. Yes, you are always denying it inside, that no. So you're creating a body conscious version of everything that happened, so that you don't have to face the truth. And this is what we've been doing for so long. And then, when I came to Baba, I was the biggest attainment that I felt with Baba was this relationship where I could open up and say things and express things in all honesty as they are. And I knew that Baba is listening and Baba is not judging. And it was this beautiful, relationship. But I think, I was in that place in my journey where my heart was not frozen or my heart had not become stone heart. So it was still possible for me to open up my heart and speak to Baba and be honest about my feelings and my karma, and then take that light and might. Because you see, if your heart is full with falsehood, then how do you, when it's not empty at all, how do you draw Baba's light? So it's full of the falsehood that you are protecting so badly that there is no door, there is no window for Baba's light and might to come. So then it's just a head to head relationship. But when there is that softness in your heart still there, and then you can open your heart up to Baba and just give everything that's there in your heart to Baba, and then Baba can fill your heart with light and might. So that is something that I felt was my biggest attainment when I came to Baba. And but I have seen in this Brahmin journey that there are many souls who are not able to open their heart even to Baba. Yes, you're not. So there is so much of mistrust, and there is so much of, what you say, this guard up, because we have been in the world of body consciousness for 63 births. So putting your guard up is also a sign of body consciousness, and you're so guarded that you're not even able to open up to Baba. And if you don't open up to Baba, because you see, when you are talking to Baba, when you are sharing with Baba, then you know that nobody else is listening. It's just Baba and you. But even in that sweet silence, if you're not able to open up, if you're not able to look inside, if you're not able to see inside, and you're just, very superficially connecting with Baba, then how will you heal your heart? And Baba says that the enemies have, the biggest enemy is body consciousness, and then all the vices that follow these vices, this body consciousness, they have corroded the soul. And now you are on a battlefield, and now you need to, win over these vices. You need to win over Ravan, but that can only happen when you draw yoga power from Baba. But if there is dishonesty, how will you draw yoga power from Baba? And how will you win over your impure sanskars or traits of Ravan? And then, even after becoming a BK, you'll keep saying, this one is the problem, that one is the problem, the other one is the problem, and Baba solved this, solved that. Because you're not looking inside, and you're afraid to look inside. So the spirituality is deep inner work. And Baba says you are on a battlefield, and you must recognize the enemy. So you need self-awareness, you need to recognize the enemy, you need to recognize what are your sanskars that you're carrying, and you have to surrender those sanskars to Baba and draw the light and might from Baba and win over those sanskars. Now, in this whole thing, Baba says that you are a warrior, and what is the task of a warrior? Baba says you are incognito warriors. So, a warrior can never be not attentive. Yes, and if you are at war, you have to be in attention always. But are we always in attention? Do we understand I am on a battlefield? So we don't pay attention, and that's why the vices keep, eating us up from inside, slowly, gradually, and we don't even recognize that, because we are in Ravan Rajya, and everything is dominated by Ravan. Whatever you see, hear in this whole world, the ideas that are sold to you, your sanskars, everything is dominated by Ravan. And then you have to be really alert all the time if you want to identify where is Ravan, causing loss to you. So I remember there was this one person, and he told me that I have a very good life. And I said, what's so good about your life? So he said that I'm retired, there's nothing to do, and I'm relaxing, and I'm holidaying, and I'm partying, and I'm drinking, and I have money, so I can do that. So I said, okay, so that's your idea of a good life? So he said, yes. So I said, and do you feel the need to flaunt it to others? So he said, yes. And I said, do you feel the need to brag about it to others? So he said, yes. So I said, what kind of a good life you have? You can't even, you can't even enjoy it with yourself. You have to brag about it, flaunt it, so that, other people are jealous. And then, are you enjoying your life, or are you enjoying their jealousy? What are you enjoying really? So I told him that if you don't have a goal in life, I don't think that's a good life. And the whole world keeps telling you that when you don't have any goal, that's a good life. When all your goals are accomplished, that's a good life. But it's actually the opposite. When you have a goal, that's a good life. Because if you don't have any goal, then what happens is you're just wasting everything. And if you have a goal, you are using everything for a purpose. And then happiness is the product of good karma. So if you don't have a purpose and you don't use your resources in purposefully, then you are not creating good karma, and you can never be happy. So you see, these are the differences between what Ravan tells you and what Baba tells you. So Baba gives you the truth, and Ravan, in the world of Ravan Rajya, there is only falsehood. So Baba says you are on a battlefield, and there is so much, the opinions, the ideas, the vibrations, your own body, the way your hormones are functioning, your sanskars, they are all dominated by Ravan. So in order to take light and might from Baba, in order to be in yoga with Baba, in order to take every step on Baba's Srimad, you need to be very attentive all the time. Because what thought just takes you off track, you don't know. So some thought, some feeling comes, and then you go off track. So Baba says this is a battlefield, and in the battlefield a soldier has only two tasks. What are the two tasks? You either train or you fight. So when you're not fighting, you're training, and when you're not training, you're fighting. So that's the way a warrior works. So Baba says we are also incognito warriors. So when we are not fighting with Maya, we are training ourselves. So you have to always keep in awareness that you are on a battlefield, and never let loose. Keep drawing light and might from Baba. Keep talking to Baba. Keep taking directions from Baba. Keep building your inner strength so that whenever there is time, you can discern Maya and win over it. Whenever Maya attacks you, you can discern Maya and win over it. Because you see, when you are not attentive, you will not even know that Maya has come to attack you. So, in order to have discernment, in order to win over Maya, you have to constantly train yourself by having yoga with Baba. So, Baba says you are on a battlefield and you must keep training yourself and winning over Maya. And Baba says the first vice that you have to win over is body consciousness. Yes, and body consciousness is that which, it's you can only discern that you're body conscious, or this thought is coming from body consciousness, or this act is body conscious when you are in good yoga with Baba. Because if you're not in good yoga with Baba, then you cannot discern body consciousness. Do you understand that when we started falling from copper age, we took the support of body consciousness and we have built our whole identity around body consciousness. Yes, so body consciousness is like that bandage that we have tied because there was a deep wound inside and the soul was, broken, wounded, and then you kept tying these layers of body consciousness. So, what I have, what I do, attachments to things, attachments to people, attachments to your own ego. This is what you built because you were not okay on the inside. And now those attachments are a part of your personality trait. That ego is a part of your personality trait. And then how can you discern your own ego when that ego has been your personality trait for 63 births? So it's very difficult to recognize your own ego if you don't do this practice of always detaching from the body and remembering Baba. You will never be able to see your ego or see your body consciousness. And I remember, there was this one sister and she lived in a family where it was a very patriarchal setup, and she was always, because of her gender, she was looked down upon. So every time, she had to survive in that environment, she had to just tell herself always that don't listen to anybody. Yes, don't listen to anybody, just do your own thing, make your own life. And that became her defense mechanism. And then, later on, she did not even have the capacity to listen to anybody. Because all her life what she has done is don't listen to anybody because they are all speaking something that's, hurting you. So she didn't have the capacity to listen to anybody. And I noticed that, and I said, if you told her do this, then she would do something else. And then in the beginning I thought, why would she do the complete opposite of what was told? But then I slowly, gradually realized that she can't even listen to what you're saying. So if you're giving her a direction, her inner direction starts operating faster than that. So, if you ask her to cut vegetables, so she's thinking about cutting vegetables her own way before even listening to you, because she's skilled that ability to listen because of the circumstances. And then listening, if she can't listen to one direction, then if you tell her, listen to the fact that you are having this problem, that's impossible. She will never listen. So then I just told her, you sit and meditate. What can I tell you? So I said, you just sit and remember Baba. And I told Baba, you do something, because in this case, we can't do anything. So you see, I'm giving you one simple example of how body consciousness works. And then you see, if you don't rise above this body consciousness, then other vices you can never deal with. But how do you rise above this body consciousness? It's not as simple as it is said. You have to really make effort for it. You have to time and again, practice that I'm just a soul, and everything else, what is my original sanskar. Separate yourself from the acquired sanskars. Just look at how it feels to be you in your original sanskar, and then open your heart to Baba. Take Baba's love, take Baba's words. Baba speaks to us very highly, and Baba looks at us as really deity souls. And just take that vision of Baba, take that attitude with which Baba sees you, and build that sense of self-esteem inside. Only then will you be able to see your body consciousness and not get disturbed seeing your body consciousness or seeing your vices. So you have to do a lot of inner work before you can win over Ravan. And Baba says, now your primary task is to win over Ravan. So keep doing this inner work until you win over Ravan. So this is something that Baba says. And then Baba today says that you have to also be careful when you are doing this inner work. Don't hear evil, see evil, talk evil, think evil. Because if you are listening to the worldly things, then they are also influencing your state of mind and your opinions, and then this inner work gets delayed more and more. And then Baba says, don't defame Baba through your actions. Because you see, when you're not upholding virtues, when your speaking is not sweet, when your conduct is not pure, then you defame Baba. And anybody who sees you because you're a Brahmin, then they have negative opinion about Baba and the yajna. And that is a burden that you're incurring, because you see, that is called ninda ka boj. So if you have defamed Baba, that's like a boj that you're carrying, and that further impedes your journey. So it's very important that you keep up with your virtues. You are an embodiment of virtues, and even if you are not practically inside out same, but when you come into interactions, at least take care that you don't defame Baba. So there was this one Mata, and she told me that I have anger. So I said, at least don't express it so that people don't know that you are an angry person, because that is. And then she said, but that's not me. So I said, but what is you is not good enough to be revealed. So what you do is, at least don't express that anger inside and deal with it inside. Because sometimes you feel that I am who I am, but then even if you fake it till you make it, it is okay. So if you're not feeling internally sweet also, at least talk sweetly. At least take some effort on the outside, and then maybe you will, in that attempt to live up to that image, maybe you will be able to change on the inside also. So if you can't do it inside out, do it outside in, but at least do it. Because if you are not changing on the inside and you say it is inside out, so I will not change until it is inside out, then what happens is you create a lot of burden of defaming Baba. So at least take care that you are a BK and you don't defame Baba. So even if it feels like a burden to carry that responsibility, carry it. And when children, Baba's children, they wear white, they wear a badge. And let me tell you, if you're wearing full white, then half the world knows you're a BK, even if you're not wearing a badge. So sometimes you feel that, but wearing full white is not normal in the world. Nobody wears full white. So if you wearing full white also, you are a BK. People know that. So you must at least keep your virtues emerged, and so that you don't defame Baba and don't carry that burden. So Baba says, do the inner work, fight Ravan, win over Ravan, and then don't hear evil, see evil, don't defame Baba. And Baba says, don't fall into the trap of dirty karma, because sometimes you see, the Baba says lust is engaged in privacy. So children are sometimes, they say, who is saying? So, but who is saying is fine, but then are you doing it for somebody? No, you are not practicing your spiritual life for somebody else. So it doesn't matter who is saying, who is not saying. You are seeing your karma, and then that karma is creating your destiny. So don't take this idea also that I can be vicious in private and good in public. So you must also slowly, gradually deal with this hypocrisy. Okay, Om Shanti.